life's most embarrassing moments happened when I was a fat adolescent, followed by when I was an awkward teenager, and I did have a few moments in college that were embarrassing. There was a night that I puked all over myself at the Midnight Rocky Horror Picture Show in Harvard Square. There was another time when I went into a debate completely unprepared with Oxford University students. That one still makes me feel sick in the pit of my stomach, I must admit, and that was many decades ago. And there was that other time when I was married for 2 years, but that's a whole other volume of stories for some other night. Anyhow, I haven't had a really, truly devastating, embarrassing moment to my recollection for a really long time. Until December 5th, 2010. My mom was visiting me from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. She was here for a few weeks around Thanksgiving, and one of the things that I've been telling her about and talking up all the time was the amazing experience of seeing and hearing something, anything, at the Walt Disney Concert Hall downtown. Have you guys been there? Anybody? My mom is a piano player. She also has played the organ, and I was really excited to take her there because the building is almost acoustically perfect, and it's really fantastic to see a concert there. So anyway, the LA Philharmonic didn't have any home games when my mom was in town, but even better, because it was the holidays, the Los Angeles Master Chorale was doing their annual Handel's Messiah sing-along. Now, I'm not really a fan of any Messiah, but I am an erstwhile choir girl, and I'm a lover of all things holiday pomp and circumstance, so I was into it. My mother is a regular groupie of church music, and I also believe that she's an actual elf from Santa's Workshop. So she was like a million times more excited about it than I was. So, you know, that building has that crazy Frank Gehry architecture on the outside. There was the promise of giant Christmas decorations in the lobby, and singing with the premier orchestra and performers, and a 6,125 pipe organ. What could be better, right? After we enjoyed some insanely overpriced dinner at the Grab and Grub Concert Hall Cafe, we bought our songbook to share, and we filed it into the sold-out performance. We noticed all the real singers around us. Their scores were weathered with age, dog-eared with use. But, I mean, it couldn't be a really serious concert, right? I mean, I'd been to one of these things before back in Boston. My mom had been to one before. It wasn't like the sopranos sit with the sopranos, the altos sit with the altos, etc. It was just everybody scattered about in whatever seats you bought, and it was for fun, right? Wow. Yeah. Leave it to Los Angeles to take the fun out of any kind of amateur performance-based entertainment, right? It's just like going to karaoke or community theater in this town. The annual Messiah sing-along was packed with professionals and highly skilled novices trying to outdo each other, while Mom and I did our best to keep up with the singing. But as far as being in a hall full of sweaty chorus nerds singing a Baroque oratorio goes, it was a lot of fun. There was a killer first soprano a few rows away from us. She was nailing all the high notes. And Mom and I were muddling along, making sure not to belt anything out, lest we be wrong. And we were stretching our rusty music reading abilities to their limits. Well, I was really proud of myself. We made it through part one, unscathed. I don't quite remember where in the music they take a little intermission, but we had an intermission. Everything was great. We had a little ginger ale, got our voices back up to speed for the second half of the show. Sorry, my cards are sticking together. So anyway, we go back into the theater for the second part, which is much shorter than the first part. And in my head, I started thinking about, oh, where are we going to go get dessert after the show? Maybe we can sneak up to the organ and get a close look at all the cool pipe organ doodads. And I was thinking how much fun I was having with my mom and how she had to leave the next day and getting kind of sad. So I was distracted. But you guys, that's the only excuse I have, or these little minor distractions. I promise you, what I'm about to tell you next is not pretty. It's not pretty at all. In case you don't know the Handel's Messiah piece of music, the most famous part is the Hallelujah chorus, right? So even if you guys don't know the music, you guys know Hallelujah, 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 right? We all know that. We've heard it in countless ads, countless movies. So it comes to the end of the second part of the Messiah, which, by the way, is telling the story of Jesus Christ himself from birth to resurrection. And this part, this Hallelujah chorus, is an exaltation of Christ's ascension into heaven, I think. I'm not an expert, but there is a third part that comes after the Hallelujah chorus, but it's a really tiny piece of music, and it doesn't matter because everybody goes so they can sing the Hallelujah part. So I was doing fine. I was really proud of myself and my mom. She was doing fine too. And this part was the most fun part to sing, right? This is why we paid our $40 for the tickets. This was the moment. So the music was building up. We were all standing. Everybody was really getting into it because this was the moment we had all been waiting for. And I actually knew the notes and the melody for this part of it. So I wasn't looking at the score very closely. And I was all caught up in the music. I had my Handel Messiah groove on. And then at the very end of the song, in front of roughly 2,265 people, plus the musicians and the conductor, I did the worst thing that anybody could possibly do. As the entire building full of singers paused before the penultimate note, that dramatic, pregnant pause before the final Hallelujah, I, lost in the moment, came in just one teeny tiny beat too soon. I sang Lou, loud and proud, in a completely silent, almost acoustically perfect auditorium. My one little voice echoed up, down, sideways, and across Disney Hall with crystal clarity, ruining the most famous and the crowning moment of the Messiah. As if this wasn't enough to embarrass the hell out of me, a millisecond after I sang Lou, a prissy little tenor a few rows in front of us turned around, glared at me, and went, "Ugh." Well, guess what? His voice reverberated across the whole Disney Hall as well. So here we were, complete silence. I sing, Lou, and the guy goes, I hit my seat, and I picked up the music and put it in front of my face to hide myself. And my mother was having a silent laughing fit, of course. She's pointing at me, she was making faces at me, and whispered, I thought it would be me who would do something like that. I have to tell you, I was so embarrassed I thought I would die. And the conductor at the end of everything said, oh, let's do another round with the Hallelujah chorus because that's the song we all love to sing and why we come to this every year. And I honest to God think that they might not do that every year, but he did it because of me. But anyway, I inadvertently gave my mom an additional Christmas present last year. I gave her an excellent story for our family friends. I gave her a moment to call upon when need be to point out sometime when I was the one that did the embarrassing thing, not her. And I gave her a comedy routine, all rolled into one. And by the way, she now calls me the soloist.